Welcome back. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group has released the results of its 2025 Festive Feeling Study showing just how South Africans feel during the holiday season. The study collected responses from people aged 18 to 65 from across the nation. SADAG says the study shows that people experience the festive season in very different ways, with some thriving and enjoying the holidays despite the challenges, while others feeling disconnected or under pressure. SADAG Call Center Manager Tracy Feinstein joins us now for more. Ms. Feinstein, a very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having us on the show.
Now, the study shows a stark contrast between those thriving and those struggling during the festive season. So what are the key factors driving these differences in emotional experiences?
One of the overwhelming key factors that came out of the study was the amount of mental anguish related to financial stress.
Yes.
And we had 73% of the respondents actually indicated that they really worry about being able to get through January. Another 69%, so almost 70%, indicated that they really felt bad that they would not be able to spoil their loved ones over the holiday season. And Christmas is meant to be that time of giving, unwrapping the presents, and sharing with one another.
And did your data perhaps reveal any trends linked to age, gender, or even socioeconomic status? And what do these trends tell us about the mental health inequality in South Africa? Yes.
So one of the key things that stood out for us was, in actual fact, whilst we had a great respondent, 2,095 valid responses for the public survey, only 14% of the participants were actually men. And that tells us that we still need to do a lot of support and TLC to the men and males in our community. There's still a lot of stigma around expressing emotions and asking for help to take care of their own mental health.
Yeah, sure. And I want to know, Ms. Feinstein, how this year's festive sentiment compares to previous years. I mean, are South Africans feeling increasingly disconnected or under pressure?
Well, we know, SADAG has grown significantly over the past few years. And in many ways, it means that more people are coming forward. They are sharing their stories. They are taking the first step. They are making the phone call to get help. And in many ways, that is good. It doesn't mean that there's suddenly this massive spike and suddenly everybody is mentally unwell. But of course, we've got more people reaching out for support. We are able to assess the data. We are able to work with that information, and we are able to provide the resources and the help that people desperately need. And one of the things that SADAG is so incredibly good with doing is helping people to navigate the resources available. And for many people, getting early diagnosis for their mental well-being is incredibly important. And even though we think we're all on holiday during December and early January, this is a time where we feel the overwhelming burden of stress. A lot of people feel anxious, which could manifest further into panic attacks. There's a lot of loneliness at this time of the year, and all of these contribute to people's mental health. And the first step is make a phone call to SADAG, speak to a counselor, get in touch with a mental health therapist so that you can start the journey to support and recovery.
And it's quite a pity that the festive season is often idealized as a time of joy, gifting each other and so on. Yet you've just mentioned that SADAG reports significant stress. Let's talk about the main stressors driving anxiety, depression and isolation during the holidays. And I would imagine money is at the heart of it, or the lack thereof.
Money is at the heart, exactly. So money is at the heart of it, and I think it's very specific to the South African economy at the moment. Another thing is the unemployment. And whilst we had a range of participants from both the employment, unemployment, the student sector and retirees, unemployment has such a big contribution to one's mental well-being, because if you're not working, you feel the lack of purpose. And certainly that brings on levels of anxiety. It lowers your sense of self-worth. And unfortunately, for some people, if they don't get help in those early days or the early feelings of this desperation, I don't have money, I'm not purposeful, I can't provide for my family, it does lead to bigger issues. And unfortunately, there are people that do maybe end their life. And it's a sad reality, but something that we at SADAG are familiar with, and counsellors are well trained to support people who are feeling that overwhelmed and that desperate that they may choose or starting to think about ending their life.
Ms. Feinstein, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, SADAG Call Centre Manager Tracy Feinstein chatting to us as SADAG's 2025 Festive Feeling Study shows the holiday season brings joy for some, but stress, disconnection and pressure for many others.